what are a couple of examples where you've seen where people have started on the journey and then realized that they've sort of not structured or protected the risks properly?
It's something that we come across all the time where, again, starting small, sole trader, my accountant told me that's probably a good idea to start a company. So you go from sole trader to then start a company. You're filling out the company forms. What's easiest? Oh, to chuck all the shares in my name personally. All good. All right, we'll worry about later. And then it's not until like a year later, then you start to do your tax return. You're like, oh, okay, this thing's exploded, which is obviously a good problem to have, that the company's gone really great. And now you've got 100% of shares in your name. Everything's in your name and you're running a risky company. I keep using the construction company as the example because it's a good one. So then you've got a sole director, sole shareholder, everything in your name. Maybe, and it's usually the case for the younger clients that I work with, that you've bought a house, maybe an investment property. You've just haven't really thought too much about it. So you just put it all in your name as well. So then what you've got is a single shareholder, single director that holds all their personal assets in their own name, or maybe a 50-50 with their partner. So then if they get sued, then everything's in their name. There's no structures, no protection in place. But when you ask the question, they're like, well, I just started this company. Like I didn't really think about, I was just worried about the day to day. I wasn't thinking 5 years ahead, which obviously as humans, we're not great at doing.
But in that example and things like that, Ross, are we James Packer? Are we trying to create billion-dollar structures so that we can't get sued? Or is this actually relatively smart and simple to execute?
Oh, it's definitely smart and simple to execute. I was chatting to an accountant about this the other day to say, why don't more people have trusts set up? And that's obviously what we're talking about, which is maybe a little bit more complex for today's topic. But I said, well, what's the difference of you setting up a company versus you setting up a company and a trust? And he said, it's an additional like $500 to do it. And he said, most people are just like, no, let's not worry about it. And you and me know the implications of paying $500 today when we first start a company to what will happen in 5 years' time when we have to restructure this company or this thing and potentially pay $500,000 in tax at that stage. Whereas if we had paid the $500 up front and got it sorted, we could potentially reduce that $500,000 down to $100,000 or something.
Yeah.